I'm going to turn it over to Louisville Fire Department Chief Brian O'Neill to say a few words. Then the Executive Director of Emergency Management Services, Jody Myman, will say a few words as well. And then we'll open it up to any questions. All of us representatives of the agencies that I just described are here with us on scene. Again, we'll try to take some of your questions. We may not have answers yet. We expect to do another briefing later tonight when we hope to have more answers than we do right now. But first, let me turn it over to Chief Brian O'Neill from the Louisville Fire Department. Chief.
Thank you. So, as the mayor mentioned, the initial call came in right at 3 o'clock for an explosion. We sent a full box alarm. It's going to be 4 engines, 2 trucks, a battalion chief. They came to the area. They found that there had clearly been an explosion. They saw the type of plant that they'd be dealing with. So we need to understand this is not only a fire run, this is a structural collapse run, and this is a hazardous materials run. Fortunately, Louisville Fire handles all of those disciplines. We got extra personnel coming on that. We hit a second alarm, made sure all the hazardous material teams were on the way as well. Plant personnel did an amazing job with their emergency action plan to get most of the people out. Once our firefighters arrived, they did make an aggressive interior attack. We had one person that was pinned. We were able to get them out, rescue them, as well as assist the others in evacuation. EMS was on scene to help out with transportation immediately to area hospitals. There's at least 8 patients that I know of that had to be transported. There may have been more by now. Once we got the fire knocked down, we immediately also started air monitoring for the immediate area. You may have heard that there was an evacuation. That was a precautionary measure that was done immediately because we didn't know exactly what we're dealing with, and that was just to get people from the immediate area, as well as that shelter in place to make sure that we can size things up. But as the mayor mentioned, we started air monitoring immediately. It is ongoing. We're going in all directions within that whole area, and rest assured that nothing at this point has ever shown any type of chemical problems in the air in this entire region. So there's nothing to be concerned of with that. But understand that this is an ongoing scene. So as our people are dealing with this, and because of the structural collapse with that explosion, we don't precisely know yet exactly what types of leaks may happen or may be ongoing. So please just remain calm, remain in the area. Remain out of the area if you're not here already. We don't need extra personnel down here, but expect for your firefighters to be on scene for some time handling this emergency. I'll hand it over to Director Myman, and we'll try to answer any questions for you that you have.
Jody Myman, Executive Director of the Louisville Metro Emergency Management. Many of the things have been mentioned. One of the things that's on our radar is to get, obviously, unified command set up. There's several different agencies that are responding. The shelter in place was done immediately just because of the unknown. There was a complete unknown about exactly what was dealing with, and the firefighters and the local responders know what's in those buildings, but when you mix those things, that becomes a problem. So we didn't exactly know what we were dealing with. Like Chief O'Neill mentioned, the structural collapse, that puts a whole other component into it, but the accountability of the people that work in the building, that was obviously first and foremost, as well as the residents. The reason that the residents were evacuated very close is because they actually couldn't do a shelter in place because many of their windows were blown out. So the highest amount of precaution was taken. Like the mayor said, we're looking to actually alleviate the shelter in place. We've got a new tool in the toolbox that we're using today. It's a non-sensor gas monitor that's attached to a drone. So we're actually able to get air monitoring samples up in the atmosphere so that we can ultimately make sure that nothing is leaving the site.
Thank you very much. We're now available to try to take any questions that you all have, and then again, we'll continue to get answers throughout the evening.
For those evacuated, when's the time frame that they can return back to their houses?
That should be happening within the next couple of hours.
So if they were at work when this happened, should they kind of just stay out of the area for now? A lot of people are worried about their pets if they were out at work during the day and they haven't been able to get back to their homes quite yet. So if they're in their homes, should they just stay there? And if they're not, should they wait?
Exactly. If you're in your home, stay in your home. If you're not home right now, please be patient. We expect that shelter in place order to be lifted probably within the next 20 minutes. We just want to make sure we wanted to exercise as much caution as possible to do some additional air monitoring. Once we're comfortable with that, we'll lift that. But for right now, just stay on pause. And like I mentioned earlier, keep a watch on social media, and we'll put messaging out as quickly as we get it.
In terms of the people transported, can you give us any picture of the severity of the injuries at this point?
Right now, we're not going to comment on any conditions. We've been in touch with local hospital, but we're going to wait to get more information before we provide any information on the individuals who were transported.
And was it 2 people trapped, Chief, or 1 person entrapped?
So there was one person that was trapped that our firefighters got out, but there were several people that had to be evacuated. And again, I give a lot of credit to our corporate partners in the city. They had an emergency action plan. They worked with us greatly to get those people out. They were very helpful to make sure that we could try to identify the different solvents and chemicals that they use at this business to help us in any way they could.
I know you can't comment on specific conditions, but can you confirm fatalities, yes or no?
There are no fatalities that we're aware of at this point. We will keep you all up to date if that changes.
And as far as it goes with the chemicals that are potentially in the air, do we have a timeline of when we'll know for sure?
We are working to get a list of that as soon as possible. They might already have it even since we've been here, but we have a lot of folks that are working on that at this time.
Shortly after the explosion, there was concern that went over the scanner about a potential ammonia leak. Is that still a concern?
At this point, no, that is not. I mean, whether that was one of the chemicals, but right now, again, as the chief just said, all the air monitoring is clear. We believe it is safe right now, and we're just trying to get a little bit more information before we lift that.
And was it 8 or 11 people that were transported to the hospital? I think you guys said different numbers.
On the way here, we were advised that 3 more individuals were recently transported. It was 8, and on the way, as we were walking to this briefing, we were alerted that 3 other individuals have gone there.
Too early to determine a cause?
That's going to be under investigation for some time.
All right. Thank you all very much. Again, I just want to give a giant thanks to every first responder, from Metro Police, LMPD, Fire Department, EMS, all of the other state and local agencies and first responders that came to this scene, putting their lives on the line to ensure that the individuals who were impacted by this are safe. Really just another show of heroism today here in Louisville. We'll continue to call it and keep you all up to date. We expect to have another briefing, but it will be later tonight in several hours, so stay tuned on that. Thank you all.
Thank you.